a suitcase and go, see you in a couple months.
Yep.
And he would just sit in the woods and drink like fucking Hemingway.
Yeah.
And then just come back like, what'd I miss?
Yeah.
Where are we?
Yeah, to a certain degree, yeah. Instead, he'd come back and tell you what he missed. I go, here's what you didn't do while I was gone.
Oh.
There was that part of it.
It's not as pleasant.
But yeah, I mean, it was what it was. My dad was a good guy. I mean, my dad was by and large a fun guy to be around.
Why did he go to the cabin? Just because he didn't want to hear shit from everybody when he just wanted that solace?
I think he just wanted the solace. I think
solitude is what I meant to say.
Yeah, I don't think it had as much to do, especially like throughout his life. My dad was a guy who would just have his times when he'd just go off into another room and sit there by himself. And I tend to emulate that from time to time, where I just go, fucking, I'm
in all
going
fairness,
over there,
you and I both do it, but we do it like I do it when the Jets are on.
Mm-hmm.
I do it when the Knicks are on.
Yeah.
Like that's when you put the baby in the jumping seat.
Uh-huh.
And you're like, no, it's fine. Just give more crackers.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
But your dad, you and your brother, who's a radio guy, let's give him a shout out up a minute. Is he still on the radio?
Yeah. Yep. Joe Anderson, ESPN 1500 on.
Is it like the ticket, the score? There's always some stupid name.
ESPN 1500.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Then it is cool.
Yeah.
Every time you're on the road, you're like, that's the check it.
Ugh.
The score.
Yeah. He used to be on the Fan.
The Fan.
Yeah.
Joe Anderson on
1500 ESPN.
1500 ESPN in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Yeah, Minneapolis.
The Twin Cities.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So you and him are the only two kids in your family.
Yes.
And your father was a guy, like who, did he have a favorite?
Me.
Definitely?
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, my brother didn't leave town, so he got stuck with all the fun parts of the.
And you had, and this is KP Anderson, for those of you listening, he doesn't do a lot of stand-up. When he goes, you should watch him, because you have you have one of the single most sardonic senses of humor. You have the sense of humor of someone who's dying. Like when people know they're dying, and
aren't we all?
And they just lay in their bed and go, I don't give a shit. When he asked the fucking guy over there with one leg, maybe he can hop over here and kiss my ass. Like you have the most sardonic, cynical, like I've never met someone so pleasant to be around, filled with such cynicism. It really is. You're the only one of your ilk. I guess Nick. But like you're the only person. That's why you guys get along so well. You're both filled with such loathing of all humanity, but yet you're so kind one-on-one.
I'd imagine she's more of a treat to be married to.
Well, yeah, because I have sex with her.
Yeah, exactly.
I've only really fucked you.
Yeah. Why are you saying that? I need this job.
But your brother, how much of your stand-up act when you do the Battling Andersons, like that Michael Buffer, and we can't say let's get ready to RUNB because he'll sue us?
Yeah.
How much of that bit is real?
All of it, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Will you do it? I know it's just the three of us and it'll seem ridiculous.
I can't. I can try. It's been.
But you don't have to like do a big show, but you could, for the listeners, they'll love it.
Yeah, but I'm going to yell now.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
There goes Daniel Lanois turning that shit down.
It's weird. It's always weird. Like you're always amazing at being able to run a bit. Like you'll call me, and you'll talk for 5 minutes, and at the end I'll go, "Oh, that was a bit." Like I've never been able to just sort of.
I gotta interrupt.
No, that became a bit.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, that became.
I have never in my life tried to bit out on somebody.
Well, no,
that's the most. For those of you that are civilians that are not comics or in the business at all, there is nothing. And I mean nothing. If someone walked up to you at the Improv and punched or headbutted your face, at least you get a fucking story out of it. Yeah. Nothing is more despicable than a guy that you think is talking to you, and a minute in you realize he's doing he's trying a bit out on me.
You just call me with something on your mind, and then 5 minutes later I go, he just came up with a bit.
Okay.
Yeah,
but you agree when people try bits out on you? Like Ted used to do that shit at the Improv. Remember that guy Ted?
Yeah.
He used to MC all the time.
Yeah. Oh.
He'd come up to you and go, I just got back from the ATM, and now you're wide-eyed like, because he's all fired up.
At the ATM, Ted?
And he goes, the guy behind me, and then he gets to the punchline like, why are there braille buttons at a drive-through ATM? And you're like, you motherfucker.
I said goulash.
You're just trying to bit out on me. I thought you were talking to me like a person.
We were having a conversation. We were connecting.
It's
as human
abominable.
beings. Yeah.
Like a snowman.
He is a nice guy, though, Ted.
He's terrific.
But yeah, he's always running a bit.
And I had I kissed David Gee's ass for like 20 minutes 2 podcasts ago.
Yeah?
Geezer doing his Alan Alda. There's no better impression than an impression you didn't know could be done.
Yeah.
And when he walked in and dropped Alan Alda and Vince Scully on me, I'm like, I don't give a fuck if you touch kids. You're my guy.
Yep.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
God,
Chad Billingsley threw 18 pitches in the first inning, and he's up to his elbows in alligators here in the second.
Guy is one of the most lovely human beings that ever walked the earth. And yet there's that thing, like at my wedding, the gift he gave us at our wedding was knives. And I was like, see, this only reinforces that maybe a serial killer thing that you see when you...
Yeah, I can see David Geezer. I can see Geezer with bodies in the trunk.
He's got that kind of Santorum clean-cut looking thing that you go, there might be some young male prostitutes missing somewhere near.
That's why Bud is always like, besotted with him, and he's in every improv in the country opening all the time. He just stays at... It's because he's got bodies.
Yep. He's got a lot of bodies.
So your mom and dad fought a lot?
Yeah, so my mom and dad fought a lot.
Sorry.
My parents were married for... This is the bit. I'm running a bit on you. Can I run this on you? Can I run this by you? Okay,
per request.
All right. So my parents were married for 45 years. And after 45 years, it's not that they didn't love each other anymore. They were just done talking. And have one nice thing to say to each other. I'm pretty sure they were still together because they wanted to be in the room when the other one died. Mom won. So here's my impression at any given night at my parents' place. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2-bedroom colonial at 47th Avenue South in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Let's get ready to... something. In the red corner, wearing the same nightgown she's had on for 13 fucking years. She's bitching about the car, the grass, the gutters, the storm windows, his buddies, her children, and anything else she can think of. The champion, Gail, get off your lazy ass and do something around here, Anderson. And in the blue corner, with his feet up on the good sofa. Defeated, confused, embittered, demoralized, can't smoke a cigarette in his own goddamned house. He crawled into a bottle 30 years ago. He hasn't come out. He doesn't have the will to fight, but she's gonna make him anyway. Roger, oh Christ, is she talking again? Anderson!
That brings the house down.
And that's the bit.
People I think fucking crazy when you do that.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do, by the way. I don't do it. I'm going to come back next year, and I was going to work a new hour out over the year anyways. I'm retiring the bit.
Why?
That's the last time I'm performing that bit.
What? Whoa, exclusive.
Yep. Exclusive, yeah. For all those KP Anderson fans out there.
Why would you retire it?
Honestly, I love the bit. I just, like, you reach those
open
points.
with it, and then you're free to do whatever you want?
I know you do that. I know that you could, that's how you, I have this weird thing that it's like, I need to, if I'm going to step forward and stand up, because I spent so much time, basically from the time I started working with you on. Prior to that, it was write a little bit for a show, go do some spots and stuff like that. But when we started Mohr Sports, and then on through now and all the other stuff, that's when I started going, the stuff that I'm writing with the time that I have, it has more to do with growing up and being an adult and having a kid to feed and all that other stuff and going home but I just went the stuff that I work on and dedicate my time to, I want to be towards the largest possible audience. So every now and again, as you know, when we've done shows together, I'll have one new bit or two new bits. But I kind of went, I kind of stopped developing on a large scale for myself.
You don't have time.
Yeah, and so now, hopefully there will be some time. But when I go out and do shows, I find myself on stage going, like the audience has no idea who I am, and the audience by and large hasn't heard this stuff unless they really remember 7 minutes on a Comedy Central show, 5-6 years ago. I tend to go, it's just not who I am anymore. That one is a little more timeless, but it's kind of like as part and parcel of like at least for a while I feel like I've got to get rid of that one in order to sort of jettison the rest of it and go, you got to start from a clean slate. You're
speaking to the choir, because I had a whole, when I turned the battleship around and became this nice, kind, handsome, thinking of others fellow you see before you, not the angry fuck everyone guy that you met. I had to go on stage with that old act. And I had panic attacks. It was horrible.
It weirds you out when you're up there talking about, we just had a baby. No, we didn't. had a fucking baby 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, why am I saying that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like when you're married and you got a kid and you're up there going, man, like Skylar Stone sat there and goes, you used to do this bit about keeping baby wipes next to the bed so you could eat ass. And I'm like, oh my God. I was humiliated. Like I had just jettisoned that shit out into space. You and I met at a dog park in Hollywood off Mulholland Drive. I was there with Ralphie May, who, by the way, is going to be on the podcast, and one of the funniest people in the world. And he said, hey, I'm coming up to the dog park, player. You got to meet my friend KP.
Yep.
And he had his dog, Pimp. No, he didn't have a dog yet. He just came with me to smoke grass.
That's right. It was you. He didn't have Pimp
yet. It was just me, and he goes, dog park's a good place to smoke grass, player. There's dogs.
Yeah.
That was like his whole explanation. Like, it's nice, man. He's a lot like He's a lot like Grady on Sanford and Son.
Yeah.
Where he can turn anything into like a mini vacation. Like, oh no, man. Dog park is good, player. Yeah. There's a bench, there's dogs, and there's grass and trees, man. Yeah. You'd be at like, a restaurant, and he'll just go, ooh, man. This good tap water they got here, man. All right.
I got a text from him Friday night. I haven't heard from him probably a month and a half, 2 months. Got a text from him Friday night that just said, the Jews love me, bro.
The Jews love me, KP. I can't explain it. KP said, I got a head rider for you, J. Mohr. J. Mohr's. And it was you, and you were up there with Ziggy, your Cocker Spaniel.
Yeah. Wait, you guys were playing Scrabble at Ralphie's house.
Oh,
when he said that.
The 4-hour fucking Scrabble
He and I were supposed to meet at the dog park.
Two potheads trying to figure out what 2-letter words were. AI? Yeah. AA is a word? What?
He and I were supposed to meet at the dog park like 2 hours prior to when we did. I'm standing up at the dog park with my little Cocker Spaniel Ziggy and my wife, and Ziggy just ran himself the fuck out, and he was done. Ziggy so we get back in the car, drive down. We get to the house, the phone rings, and it's Ralphie. And he goes, yeah, I'm here with Jay Mohr. He needs to talk to you about this ESPN show he's doing. So get back up here. And I look at the poor dog, and he's just like, I'm not working. Get in the fucking car. And so we drive back up.
You told him the wheel from Wheel of Fortune. That's where they keep it.
Yeah.
He was like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
We get back up there, and we we just proceeded. We got high. We talked about George Harrison. George Harrison had just died.
Yeah.
And so we were very
parachute didn't open.
Yep. You pissed in the middle of the dog park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I figure everybody else is doing it.
I remember that. We didn't talk about any fucking sports show at all. And then I was leaving. And as I was leaving, you went, oh, wait, yeah. I'm doing a sports show for ESPN, sports comedy. No one's doing it. No one's done anything like it. You want to head write it? And I went, yeah, okay. And he went, all right, I'll call you. And I left. And that was it.
You and I really, I would like to pat both of us on the back. Mm-hmm. We really are the masters. I'm going to just fucking say something nice about myself and about my friend KP. You and me specifically working together are the masters of not complicating winning.
No.
You go to a commercial break, you come up to me and go, we're a minute and a half long, we got to cut this, we got to cut that, and I would go, okay.
Yeah. Pick one, let's do
what?
that.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
How could we be over?
Yep. We had... I have a lot of because you and I off of this have had a lot of conversations lately about how professionally friendships advance themselves or cease to advance. And I had a long after we went to the Kings game the other night, we were talking about it. What occurs to me about that moment in time, and it's not a massive credit to either of us. It's a great circumstance to fall into where you meet someone who you love their sense of humor and they love your sense of humor. That's one right there. If it's close enough that we can merge the two and find a way to take other people's stuff and fit it into that same box, then you're already on the right track. But then the other thing, and this is really interesting because if it had happened at any other point in my time, in my career, when I was on the X show writing on that, or even when I was on Politically Incorrect, as screwed up as comics are and as screwed up as we can be mentally with our own sense of ego and own sense of where we want to go with our lives and what we think is due to us, like I was... At that point in time, when I got hired on Politically Incorrect, I was immediately like, well, I'm a writer now, but eventually Bill Maher is going to have to hand over the throne, and like in that fucking weird sense that you think that you're going to be the host of Politically Incorrect when and that was worse on the X show because the X show struggled to find its voice through hosts. And so and my next job was Mohr Sports, but I had been through that piece of stuff, and I had had my little parts on the X show, and I had kind of come to that conclusion along the way that I actually really enjoyed the writing, producing side of things. And it wasn't